If you haven't really thought much about BMW's recent cars over the last few years, I wouldn't blame you. I personally haven't thought much about them either. None of them have appealed to me. I literally mean nothing. However, suddenly that's changed. I love this car. In fact, this, in my opinion, is the best BMW ever. And I'm not saying that as some exaggeration. I genuinely think if you go by the comment sections so far, people responding to this car, everyone thinks this is seriously fire. And I totally agree. It's a phenomenal job. BMW, full credit to you guys. You've done a fantastic job going from having average, okay EVs to having, well, maybe the best EV on the market. Well, when it comes anyway. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. I've done more than 7,000 videos. And, I've got to tell you the truth here. Some of the videos I do, I'm not that excited about. In fact, a lot of them. This one was different. I read the details of this car this morning and I went, holy smokes, finally a BMW that I am really seriously excited about. You might be thinking, you're exaggerating. I don't think I am. I mean, seriously, this new BMW iX3, this is the iX3. I mean, this is not some sort of mega performance version, mega expensive BMW that no one's going to be able to afford. But the iX3, it's relatively affordable. I'll get to the price in just a minute. But this has a legit 800 kilometers of range with 20-inch wheels. I mean, that's serious. That's 500 miles. And if you were to put smaller wheels on this, you'd be looking at even more range than that. BMW are using similar cylindrical batteries to Tesla. So that's how they've got an extra range, but there's also some other reasons as well. The new 2026 BMW iX3 is the start of BMW's new class era with a completely new platform, structural cylindrical battery cells. That's one of the big differences here that I think the media have ignored. And a radical new design inside and out, which actually looks pretty good. It was just revealed at the 2025 Munich Motor Show. Production begins later this year in Hungary. First delivery starting in Australia in mid-2026, followed by Europe, North America, and other markets. Powertrain and performance. It doesn't particularly stand out in terms of powertrain. It's just good, I'd say. Power, 345 kilowatt. That's 463 horsepower. Torque, 645 newton meters. That's 476 pound-feet. Acceleration, 0 to 100 or 0 to 62 miles an hour in 4.9 seconds. It's fast, but it's certainly not supercar fast. There's a reason why. It's going to be relatively heavy, even with a structural battery pack. And yeah, that's because it's got a very big battery. In fact, a massive battery pack. Top speed, 210 kilometers an hour. That's 130 miles an hour. And efficiency. The efficiency is massively improved versus the previous version. 40% lower energy losses from the drivetrain. And it's 10% lighter, as in the actual structure of the car and everything else is 10% lighter. The car itself isn't 10% lighter. And it's 20% cheaper to manufacture than the outgoing eDrive 5. I want to make a point here. The CEO of Cadel, Robin Denholm, right? The CEO of Cadel, really the guy's a genius, but he came out and slammed Tesla. He did slam Tesla, to be honest. He really did. He said Tesla's 4680 battery cells were going to be a failure and would never work. I'm not even exaggerating. I think his comments, his terminology was even more damning than that. And yet BMW, many car brands disagree, and they went out and made their own batteries. And this is what's happened. They've been able to drastically improve range. 20% more energy density in these batteries using similar cylindrical battery cells to what Tesla are using. They are 4695. So they're slightly bigger than Tesla's 4680 cylindrical battery cells. Not much bigger, a couple of percent bigger, 4695. Battery size, though, is huge. It's a 108 kilowatt hour usable battery. So it's probably about a 113 kilowatt hour battery, 108 kilowatt hours usable. And it's integrated structurally into the chassis. Isn't it interesting? I mean, there's a lot of hate around Tesla, but We have to recognize when you get copied. What does it mean, right? And they're being copied. Structural battery pack, 4690 cylindrical cells. The media and a lot of engineers and a lot of people from other companies and even just commenters have slammed Tesla's decision for structural batteries. They slammed their decision for 4695 cylindrical cells. They slammed their decision for having gigacasting. And now everyone is copying it. And they should. It's good. Range, 805 kilometers WLTP. That's around 500 miles. EPA equivalent range will be probably around about 400 miles or about 650 kilometers. So this will be the longest range electric SUV on the market when it first launches. I can't think of anything else with this kind of range, 805 kilometers WLTP. Charging speed, the headline speed sounds good. It's actually not as good as it sounds. 400 kilowatt DC fast charging. It's got an 800 volt architecture. But the charging speed in the real world is nowhere near as fast as what you would imagine with 400 kilowatt DC fast charging. So clearly it has a very, very high peak, and then the charging speed kind of comes down to whatever it may be. Now, why would I say that? Well, because it takes 21 minutes to charge the battery from 10 to 80%. My G6 takes 21 minutes, and its peak charging speed is 285 kilowatt. So why would it take the same amount of time? Well, to be fair, it is a bigger battery pack. It is a big battery pack, but still, I don't think it's maintaining that 400 kilowatt peak charge for a long time. So good charging, but not quite up there with the Chinese who are doing, all the new Xpengs have over 500 kilowatt charging. They can all charge in 12 to 15 minutes. Zeekr 7X, that has the same 12 to 14 minutes, but still good. It's still a definite improvement on other vehicles from BMW, Audi, and Mercedes-Benz. You can add 350 kilometers of range, which is 217 miles, in 10 minutes. Now, of course, you need the right chargers. Here's the other thing, right? If you get an EV with an 800 volt architecture, sometimes, well, in fact, most of the time, if you try and charge them on chargers set up for 400 volt, as in specifically Tesla superchargers, your charging speed will be quite slow. It'll be something between 50 to 150 kilowatt. Apparently, BMW have accounted for this with the right technology to enable the best charging speed you're going to get from using an 800 volt architecture with a 400 volt Tesla supercharger. It has 11 kilowatt AC charging, which is okay. Some cars now have 22, but 11 is okay. Vehicle to load, 3.7 kilowatt, which obviously you can power tools, camping equipment, laptops, appliances, etc. BMW claims the batteries have 20% higher energy density and charge 30% faster than their old technology. So, so far to me, this sounds like a really good car. How big is it? It's a bit bigger than the previous version, which I think's a good thing. The previous version on the inside is a little small in comparison to its rivals. The new iX3 is 4,782 millimeters long. That's 188.3 inches. It's 1,895 millimeters wide. That's 74.6 inches. So it's increased in size by a couple of percent. Not a whole lot, but the actual interior space has increased significantly. In fact, the interior space is up by about 20%. So big difference on usable space. That said, boot space is actually kind of small in comparison to some of its rivals. 520 liters of boot space and 1,750 liters of total space when you fold down those rear seats. In comparison to the Tesla Model Y and the Xpeng G6, which it's almost very similar size to those cars. It's within 1% of being the same size of a Model Y and an Xpeng G6. It's got smaller, quite a bit less boot space, but interior space, like I said, in total is actually pretty good. Curb weight, it's certainly not going to be light. It has two motors. This is all-wheel drive. Remember that big battery pack, and therefore it weighs around about 5,200 pounds, which is about 2,350 kilos. But I'm going to guess BMW will probably bring out a version of this car with a smaller battery. This is the iX3 50 xDrive. So they will have some different versions of this car. They will have a smaller battery, less range if you wanted to go for those as an option. This will be the first model available to buy though. Now, what else can I tell you? Well, the CD, it's 0.24. So it's a little bit more slippery than the previous version. Pretty similar to other EVs that are this size, a little slightly less aerodynamic, but It's improved its aerodynamics in comparison to the outgoing version by doing one thing, making flush door handles and more aero wheels. So good change. Standard size wheels are 20 inches. You can option 21s or 22s, but then the range will go down. So I wouldn't be doing that. I reckon BMW should give you an option of having smaller wheels, put 19s on it to get even more range. You'd probably get it closer to 850 kilometers of range by doing that. Styling, as you can see, I mean, it speaks for itself. The front looks good. I mean, honestly, I haven't really been a fan of BMW's styling over probably the last 10 years. And I think the 90s were peak BMW style. What do you guys think? Do you agree? But to me, though, this is the best looking BMW that I've seen in years. I like it. It's got wide LED taillights, an upright iconic glow grille with vertical LED DRLs. It's kind of inspired by BMW's 1980s Neue Klasse, but like a modern interpretation. Interior and tech. The interior looks kind of wild, and I actually think it works. It's strange, but it actually makes sense. It's got a 43.3-inch panoramic vision display. That's that little narrow screen you can see at the very top of the dashboard that reaches all around from one side of, well, basically from the A pillar to the A pillar on the other side. And BMW say the reason for that is because that's where your natural line of sight is. So that's what you actually see generally when you're looking ahead of you. It also has a 17.9-inch, so basically an 18-inch infotainment touchscreen, which is massive, running BMW's operating system X. There is also a heads-up display. There are haptic buttons. Don't know about haptic buttons. I'm not a huge fan of them, but anyway, those provide core functions, including selecting the gears, volume, indicators, etc. Yeah, indicators, haptic buttons. If other companies did that, they might get into trouble, but I'm going to guess BMW have probably done a good job of it. It also uses recycled materials, Veganza leatherette. Is that meant to say vegan leather or something? I think so. 30% marine plastic in thermoplastic parts, and it comes standard with heated and ventilated front seats, wireless phone charging for 2 phones, panoramic roof, dual zone climate control, the things you'd expect. Something you might not expect, though, is the new brains of this car. I kind of feel like if you got the old version, you'd be a bit frustrated because the new version is just so much better. It has a super brain computer, BMW are calling it that, and it is a huge leap forward. It has 20 times more computing power than the current iX3. Either that's incredible or it says something a bit damning about the current iX3. I'm not sure which. 20 times more power. Drivers can take their hands off the wheel for long periods. So it has kind of like Tesla Autopilot. Apparently, it will be capable of full self-driving according to BMW, which is level 3 self-driving. It isn't yet, though. It won't be activated at launch due to regulatory limits in most countries. And to be honest, I don't think BMW has the software capable of running it. They're just saying the car has the computing power and the cameras and the sensors that could, in theory, get it to work. If they just downloaded Tesla software and kind of integrated that somehow, then they could probably do it. Apparently, it'll have over-the-air updates supported for future AI-powered features. And even the most extensive updates will take no more than 20 minutes, solving one of the biggest complaints with modern EV software. Now, BMW had some interesting stuff to say. They critiqued themselves a little bit on their over-the-air updates. They've basically said that their previous over-the-air updates haven't been great, or they've taken a long time to download, and that they've fixed that problem. So that's good to see. Now, one of the key questions people are asking is, they're saying, this sounds like a fantastic car. I mean, it's got some great tech, which I'll actually mention some more of that tech in just a moment. But what about the pricing? Is it going to be expensive? Estimated pricing is this. Germany, 69,000 euros. That's 80,700 US dollars. UK, estimated pricing is similar to Germany. Slightly more, probably about 70,000 euros. The United States, estimated pricing is 60,000 US dollars starting price. Australia, 55,000 US dollars starting price, slightly cheaper. So that's about $85,000 to $90,000, about 85,000 in Australian dollars. Canada, estimated starting price is similar to the United States at 60,000 US dollars. Now, I should mention the safety and driver assistance. It comes with adaptive cruise control, of course, blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, safe exit assist, speed limit recognition, so it should recognize speed signs, assisted driving functions with future expansion possible via over-the-air updates. And all in all, in my opinion, if you actually look at everything here, the new cylindrical battery cells, the structural battery pack, the improved efficiency, the much faster charging speed, the, to be honest, much better looks of this car, the 20 times faster computer, the massively improved interior, that huge 18-inch screen with that, also in addition to that having a heads-up display and also having that screen, that little narrow screen that wraps all the way around the car. You can apparently program that how you want to program it. To me, this makes for one massively improved car. This might be the best EV next year in many countries around the world. Would it be the best EV in China? Maybe not. Probably not. But the rest of the world isn't China. And this car is going to be in, I'm going to say, where you can buy BMWs, there's a good chance you'll be able to buy this. I think this will be the best selling BMW worldwide, regardless of powertrain in 2026. And honestly, kudos to BMW. I'm excited. It's good to see these legacy automakers being forced to up their game. BMW have admitted to this. They've said, you know what? We've put everything into this. We put more work into this car than any other car. And it shows. Thanks for watching.